Got to bring some dog food, of course. Keep them well fed. Got to bring some snacks.
Get the value menu. Your kid of yours.
Value menu for dogs.
Yeah.
We've got to be well fed as well. And that's important for us to be well fed here. And last night we discovered that you, Jim Palmer, had never eaten a chicken wing in your life. So look at what we have here. We've got a whole dozen from the Warehouse Bar and Grill.
Well, good for them.
Look at this. So right here, these would be your first chicken wings of your life. Right here.
What are those?
This look like chicken tenders.
Okay, I could go for chicken tender. This.
Mark, you're really not going to do it. Huntsman in the air to center.
Watchman in the air.
So last night we discovered
Do you have gloves to go with
that
it?
you've never had a chicken wing in your life, so we thought we would give you a taste. By the way, these are plain with ranch, so it fits your palate. So I'm going to dive in the Warehouse Bar and Grill right there.
I will get a ticket between it. Yeah, I did some research.
Hi, folks.
Up in Buffalo, Bellissimo, in 1964.
I just got to take off my
They
shoes.
used to use these for stock. Get rid of them because.
Thanks, my food.
Apparently
So yeah, 4-1.
Well, yeah, the
Orioles.
Look out, this is back here.
Yeah,
Uh-oh. Look out.
I was talking to Rick Manning, who actually grew up in Buffalo. He knows the anchor market. Yeah, which is where the.
I've been to the anchor bar.
Yeah, so yeah.
So you've no chicken.
No,
How about chicken tender?
yeah, sure. Yes, I'll do that. But I the white stuff. I don't do either.
The white stuff, that's ranch.
That's what I'm saying.
Well, good tender. Good tender.
Yeah, uh-huh.
Well, we tried. We tried to give you your first chicken wing. And
No, it was all
I
for
appreciate
you.
the effort. Thanks to our friends at the Warehouse Bar.
Yeah.
Those. The wings are great. The tenders are terrific. People really want to
Put a 1-1 up.
Give me to the
Orioles.
I know. And that's what the golf button is for. 1-2.
1-2.
It's down to Ryan O'Hearn.
Ryan
Maybe
O'Hunt.
some other day.
Yeah, I don't want to. I don't.
They're really good. So just because you're so
picky.
ungenerously denying.
Picky.
Picky's the word. 2-2.
Yeah.
Oh, hurry.
2-2. Single.
There's a base hit for Ryan.
That's basic for Ryan
They
O'Hunt.
hit it well against Gavin Williams with a 1-out single.
Well, back control. Where's the barrel of the bat? Can I get it to the ball? That's not a horrible pitch. What's this pitch? It's inside. But he just takes his arms, keeps them close to his body, and just turns with the barrel of the bat.
Yeah.
The base hit off Emmanuel Clase as a pinch hitter yesterday, so 2 for 3 in the series.
Okay, you do not throw
2 for 3 in the series.
by running. And this year, started in spring training, the one game I did, he hit a home run on a curved ball, hit a home run earlier in the year on another go.
Hollins started that inning with a leadoff walk. Another fastball, close but taken out of the zone.
Well, you swing at it as 1 ball and 1 strike. You take it, it's 2-0. So you can look fastball, doesn't mean you get it. And you force him maybe to throw a pitch that he doesn't throw over because he doesn't want to get hurt on the fastball.
Ball 3.
He knows he has to make the perfect pitch because of the count. Counts count.
Yeah.
In other words, if you're ahead, if you're behind,
I thought you were going Sesame Street on this thing. Count, not count.
That's what I thought. Strike.
Count leverage. That's something that Cody Ashe, Orioles hitting coach, has talked about before.
Cal knows. He's sitting over there saying,
Good count for Sid here. Big rip.
Big rip.
"This swing." Here's Cody Ashe.
Happier start to the night for him.
He's got to be pleased. Well, he's pleased because, as you mentioned, they earned 2 walks before the grand slam. So they're kind of free passes in a sense. They're not free because sometimes you got to really work the count and earn them and take the close pitches, which is exactly what they did.
And that's been an area of struggle. The Orioles had the 4th worst team walk rate in baseball. So very encouraging. Mullins and Urias setting up the grand slam with walks. Mountcastle had the base hit. Erstad had the productive flyout after Mountcastle. So really it was 5 good plate appearances in a row. 3-2. And O'Hearn is just frozen for a moment and barely back in there after the second throw over from Williams.
Yeah, a lot of it, agility from the 6'6" guy. Again, the slide, he gets his hand to the outside of the bat, the outfield side of it.
Gavin does have a pickoff. Attempted base stealers against him this year have been thrown out. O'Hearn's running, and now he can jog. Mullins has walked twice in the game. On the year, that's now 12 walks to 11 strikeouts. Here's Maui. Fastball for a strike.
Maui.
First 3 starts, batters were chasing 1/3 of Gavin Williams' fastballs outside strikes. Today, the Orioles have swung at just 2 of 18 outside the zone. And they've only swung and missed at 1 fastball in the game, which is a pitch that, again, has been sitting 97, 98. It didn't play well for him last year because of an elbow injury. It's been much better most of this season. He really worked hard to get a little more vertical movement. Elbow injury last year. He suffered spring training. He didn't pitch till July 3rd, and he never really felt right. So he did a lot of offseason work with that guy, Carl Willis. They live about 40 minutes apart in North Carolina. A high bouncing ball. Second, and an unusual double play. Schneemann tagged the base, and then his low throw was picked by Santana. We'll bow down on some tenders and wings before we come back for the 4th.
Name's Conrad Harrigan, family man. And if you cross my family, well, you'd better pray. We don't ask, we take. And when someone forgets their place, I've got a man for that.
What is this? Time?
You can wish you are.
Timeout. Oh, commercial timeout.
Dear unbreakable spirit, when the terrain is gnarly, you steady us. When obstacles are ahead, you lift us. When the turf is hostile, you inspire us. I'm a legend. Toyota Trucks.
Right now, lease a new 2025 Tacoma SR5 for $319 a month, or get 1.99% APR for 72 months on a tough new Tundra. Find yours at Toyota.com. Toyota, let's go places.
The 4th inning of Orioles baseball is brought to you by Baltimore area Toyota dealers. It's game on at Toyota. Visit your local Baltimore area Toyota dealer or check out buyattoyota.com. 4-1 Orioles. Again, thanks to our friends at the Warehouse Bar and Grill for sending us some chicken wings. You wouldn't believe it, folks. Jim Palmer ate 6 chicken wings during the break. He's just going to keep the veneer going. We did crush some tenders, which.
Well, I'll tell you what,
Really,
I
really good.
will. They hit another grand slam while I'm broadcasting. I will make sure I eat a chicken. If they do it tonight, I definitely.
So that's what it's going to take.
Yes.
All right. Scout's honor. I want you to stare into that camera. I want you to tell the people of Baltimore people of Earth what you'll do.
I will eat a chicken wing. One. If they hit enough. It could be tonight, but it doesn't have to be tonight.
Wait, so you're saying if they hit a grand slam in September, you'll eat one in
Well,
September?
if I'm doing the
If
game.
you're on the air.
Yeah.
All right. Well,
Which if
Jim is now doing the rest of the games this season. So until they hit a second grand slam, then you can go home.
it may seem like that, but I am actually doing some more games. But
Ramirez pops one up. 2-1. That's out of play. Well, the Wings will be here. We'll see if the Orioles can match Jackson Holliday's grand slam tonight. The first of the season.
Yeah.
His second. In his young career, remember his first home run was a grand slam last year.
timely hitting. You know, wait for the bases loaded and
Make it count. Ramirez flails one out of play.
yeah, that's a little cutter.
What do you think of Dean so far tonight?
A little better. I mean, just made one mistake, cutter in the middle of the plate to a guy that has great power. There he is. The cutter is good. I didn't throw a cutter. I threw a fast cutter.
Yeah.
Go off, and sometimes I would.
That was a cutter last.
I think you have a tendency.
Oh, yeah.
A couple of years
Got to
ago,
bring the
you did,
camera.
where I think
Hang on.
he's got a really good fastball. There's
I had a phone call on Willie.
Carlos Santana.
Call on Santana.
Well, the curveball has not been a put-away pitch in terms of strikeouts for Dean, but the league was 0 for 6 against it coming in.
Yeah.
And at least that Ramirez fouled out. We're still hitless on that. Here's maybe the best splitter we've seen it throw in a couple of games.
And I bet we'll see it because it went down. Glove there, bottom drops out. Now it does go a little left to right. There's another one.
Dean is getting more chase this year. It's the second highest chase rate of his career, but the lowest swing and miss rate on pitches outside the zone. Whoa, to second it, 8 up Holiday.
BB.
So Santana will reach with one out on a line drive that either hit the glove or maybe the heel of Jackson Holiday. And to go for a one-out base hit, it does.
Ball really hit hard. And a lot of movement. You never know, might have not picked it up out of the stands. I suppose when you look at it, they could have scored it an error.
Yeah, I wonder. It's
Either way,
it.
if you're Dean Kramer, you go, okay, I let him hit a rocket. Maybe it should have been caught. Whether it's an error or a hit, he still got a runner at first. So you take care of business.
Now Manzardo 1 for 21 over his last 7. Does have a few walks in there. DH with power. And Manzardo couldn't hold up.
Yeah, that is a really good curveball.
Stephen Vogt, second-year Guardians manager. Manzardo, second-year Guardians player. The splitter is loved by Rutgers. Cleveland team 8th in walk rate, 13th in strikeout rate. Typically a pretty good contact team. They're hitting for more home runs this year. And Zardo, kind of an all or nothing guy, only 9 hits, 4 homers. He does not chase the splitter here, and it's 2-2.
Yeah, they lose 31 home runs when Josh Naylor gets traded to the Diamondbacks. As you mentioned, Jimenez, won 3 consecutive Gold Gloves at second base.
They missed David Fry, too.
Oh, very much so.
Memorable walk-off home run in Game 3 of the ALCS. Was an all-star last year. 14 homers in 122 games. Fry will be back later in the year. He's currently out with elbow surgery. Had that October 30th. We're hoping he's back sometime in the summer. Otherwise, their position player is healthy. Their pitchers are pretty beaten up. 3 starters are out. Slade Ciccone is a strained oblique. This month, their next Shane Bieber, Tommy John surgery. He could be back by midseason. And then we have to mention our old friend John Means, who signed with Cleveland this offseason. He had Tommy John surgery last year as well. Second, so Means has returned a little further off from that. 3 relievers that are out as well. 7 pitch coming from Kramer to Manzardo. It's popped up. Back to the splitter. This thing traveled a long way for a pretty routine swing, and it's out number 2. This Friday is Orioles Hockey Jersey Day. First 15,000 fans receive this sweater so beautifully modeled by Ryan O'Hearn. It's presented by Lido Pizza. Orioles and the Cincinnati Reds at 7:05, and go to Orioles.com/tickets. Another old friend will be coming to town. That is Austin Hayes, who in his Reds debut yesterday homered and drove in 4. Very much looking forward to seeing Austin today. Saw Anthony Santander at the beginning of this homestand with the Blue Jays, and I'm sure Austin will get a similarly large ovation. He was an all-star starter 2 years ago and a very important part of the Orioles' return to glory.
It's only the 3rd time since 1920 somebody in their Reds debut drove in 4 runs. I think Moustakas did it. Maybe. And then, remember the former Red Sox, Ryan LaVarnway?
Yes.
Drove in 5 one night.
Briefly, a former Oriole. Ryan LaVarnway.
Very briefly. He was playing the night of the Curse of the Andino when the Orioles upset the Red Sox and John Lester that last game of the season.
Well, listen, that is for us today is to be on strike 3. Kramer has 2 strikeouts in the game, and they're both against Lane Thomas.
One thing that surprised me about the RBA is the want to do school, whereas it was kind of a struggle before.
All of the educators, the staff, the therapists, the specialists, everybody is so knowledgeable. And my favorite thing is that we all work together as a team for the kids. I really feel like we're partners with the RBA. I just love it so much. I know I've said that before, but I love the RBA.
If you have polycythemia vera, or PV, it may impact your moments. While you may blame the way you feel on getting older, it could mean your PV is getting worse. It's time to help take control of your PV. For adults with PV who have already taken a medicine called hydroxyurea and it did not work well enough or they could not tolerate it, Jakafi kept the volume of red blood cells under control and reduced spleen size. Jakafi can cause low blood cell counts. Tell your doctor right away if you develop bleeding, bruising, tiredness, shortness of breath, or fever, or if any of them get worse. And before taking Jakafi, if you have an infection, have or had TB or hepatitis B, or had a blood clot, heart attack, other heart problems, or stroke.
Non-melanoma skin cancers and increases in cholesterol have been reported. With another JAK inhibitor, there is increased risk of major cardiovascular events in those who have risk factors, blood clots in the legs or lungs, sometimes life-threatening, and an increased risk of lymphoma and other cancers. The most common side effects are low red blood cell counts, dizziness, and diarrhea. Why let PV impact your moments? Discover your path to possible. Talk to your doctor about Jactify.
Believe in themselves, know what reason why you went first round. There's a reason why you're here in the big leagues already. There's a reason why we won 90 plus games and 100 plus games back-to-back years because of contributions that they've made, and they're only going to get better. But you have to be able to slow down the game a little bit and know that you're going to have bad games.
That was Brandon Hyde pregame today, talking about this young Oriole lineup. As did Kerstad, part of it. There's another ball squarely hit, but right over to Stephen Quad, the Cleveland left fielder. So a good swing by Kerstad. It was one of those players that we just heard Brandon Hyde talk about. Brandon has been honest, certainly was today, about the struggles of this team and the struggles of some of the young players, Kerstad being among them, Jackson Holiday among them. Specifically noting guys who were drafted high, who were first-round picks, who have always succeeded, but are now putting, as Brandon said, both internal pressure on themselves and dealing with external pressure. And that, as we've seen, Jim, with this team and some of these young players, that can be a difficult thing to break out of, and that's something that Brandon acknowledged, as we just heard him talk about pregame.
Oh, yeah, they just don't fail. Mike Elias certainly knows that. I mean, I played for Cal Ripken's junior dad, and he used to always classify. He said there's suspects and there's prospects. And then when you can get the best prospects, bring them to the big leagues, and then you become suspect until you prove you can do it. And it's not only physical, it's mental. And again, I think, the guys you're around can certainly help you. I look on this ball club, the guys with veterans, Mountcastle's got enough advance now. O'Hearn, whatever. So if you are struggling, get somebody to talk to.
Rios hold the swing, according to Will Little. There's strike three on a breaking ball.
Strike three on a breaking ball.
Those pitches, but the swings are a whole different thing. So here we go. 0 for 17 until
Jackson Holiday.
Our All-State good has replay. Jackson Holiday snapping out of that hitless streak. First hit in 11 days was an opposite field grand slam. Everybody to the hydration station. And Jackson takes the next pitch the other way. This is a little more routine for Stephen Kwan. A grand slam for Holiday in the second. It's still a 4-1 Oriole lead.
When it comes to roofing and siding, there's only one thing you need to know. AOAT is the GOAT of roofing and siding. With years of experience, Ace of All Trades delivers honesty, integrity, unbeatable quality, and top-tier service that'll make your home stand out. AOAT is the Ace of All Trades, committed to excellence every step of the way. When you want the best, don't settle for less. Trust the GOAT to elevate your home's look and protection. Call Ace of All Trades today for your free estimate, because your home deserves the best.
They did it. So can you. With weight loss programs through Eden, your weight is now in your control, 100% online. No office visits, no hassle, just real results. Join over 50,000 plus applications already embarking on their weight loss journey with Eden. The wait is over. See if you qualify today at tryeden.com.
And that's why I never drive those guys.
Party's over, big guy.
We're tired of hearing, I don't want to get my truck dirty.
With WeatherTech laser-measured floor liners front and rear, a seat protector, and full bed protection, trucks are totally covered.
You just got WeatherTech.
Yeah, buddy.
Let's get dirty.
Order your premium American-made products at WT.com. I'm gonna look weird here for a second, talk to myself, but we all did a weird thing today. Most of the rehab guys, we all shaved our facial hairs and mustaches, and I think the only one that isn't noticeable is mine. I think S is probably the best out of all of them. He's avoiding me like tonight too.
Here's the strange thing about that is that Tyler Wells would be doing that if he wasn't like,
Yeah, exactly.
just talking to himself, staring. I think he may be the first ever mic'd up player to literally just talk to himself. You saw the mustaches there on Big F, Zach Eflin, and Kyle Bradish.
Yeah, but he's old enough to shave. Tyler's old enough to shave. I don't even know if he does.
There's an outline of a mustache there, I don't know if John Waters would be proud of that effort.
No, John would not be.
Over to first, Kramer, the hatless wonder, is there to retire Martinez. Dean's given up one leadoff base runner. That was the Arias home run in the third, and only a Santana single that could have been an error. Other than that, Dean Kramer has been perfect through 4 1/3.
Well, all the pitches are working. Good fastball, even better curveball. Most of the splits, really good. And only the cutter down the middle to Arias gave him the run. And again, he does have big time power at the opposite field. Big guy.
Another first pitch strike as well for Dean. His first pitch strike rate on the year is 77%. Pretty staggering number. But there were a couple of ambushes in there. 5 for 10, 2 homers against on the first pitch. Today, though, Cleveland has only put the first pitch in play once. That was Bo Naylor grounding out. That was their strength for him last year. Very good on the first pitch.
Yeah.
Well, location of that first pitch also is pretty important. There's that term that you're wild and you're in the middle of the zone. That doesn't bode well.
Yeah, there could be, it could be a thing of too many strikes. Kramer at times probably with 2 strike counts, and early on is throwing non-competitive strikes. A lot more around the edges tonight. 69th pitch coming. And just missed it.
Just missed it.
Drag it back to Will Little's diminutive strike zone.
Arias has really had a good start to the season. 4 homers, slugging over 500, hitting around 300. Fights off a ground ball here. Big question for Cleveland: who would be the second baseman? Who would replace the 3 straight Gold Gloves of Andres Jimenez, All-Star a couple of years ago, and Arias has been the guy. There are other candidates: Tyler Freeman, who was traded to the Rockies. Juan Brito, minor league player who could make his way up here, maybe even at some point later in the year. Travis Bazzana, who was the first pick in the draft a year ago, but it's Arias who's played really well. And he takes one just down, and there's the first walk for Kramer tonight.
Great take. Borderline 3-2 pitch.
Borderline 3-2 pitch.
You know it's a small zone when he takes advantage of it.
Yeah.
When you're down 4-1, you're looking for base runners, and you get one.
Well, this is the area of the lineup where the Orioles have really been hit the last couple of games. Cleveland yesterday, Toronto before. Opposing 6 through 9, the bottom 4, have just had so many productive plate appearances. Sack flies, sack bunts, walks, big power as well. And the 7-hitter Arias has a home run and a walk tonight to add to that.
Yeah, the extra inning win against the Jays on Sunday was an infield roller by Straw. I think hitting 9.
David Schneider reached base 3 times in that game. He had been hitless on the year. Ernie Clement batting 7th, was 4 for 5. Last night, Martinez was 3 for 4. Naylor had a walk, a sac fly, and a sac bunt. How to play off the cutter.
And he's got a little bit of power, right? You know, hit a little bit over 200 last year with 12 home runs.
Fastball down the middle, caught by a ranging Henderson. Not quite squared up. So, a line drive that wasn't scalded. Henderson made a nice running quick.
Yeah, that's slicing away, so you better get a good jump. What's your move right here? Of course, that's the third baseman. Urias way off the line. And once again,
The hell?
Daniel Schneemann grounded out his first time.
嗯
4 in a row, 13 out of 18 for Dean.
嗯
Schneemann, the former BYU Cougar.
well, we talked about him. 2018, you're the 1,003rd guy chosen. When he got called up for AAA last year, he was having one heck of a year. You know, almost hitting 300, on base percentage over 400.
Oh, right back to Kramer, and then it eats up Henderson. Arias will run all the way to third.
Arias will run all the way to third.
From Daniel Schneemann.
Yeah, when you throw it, you try to become a defender, but when you release it, you're about 6 feet, so many inches down the mound, and then all of a sudden you're not that far. Great angle right here. I mean, able to get out of the way, and I'm sure that Henderson doesn't see it well, or maybe does it hit the bag? Looks like it came off the second baseline.
One hot routine to be specific. Here's a tying run. Come on, he homered in this inning yesterday.
Yeah.
Yeah, fastball up and in. You can see where the target is, and that's exactly where Dean Kramer throws it. Well, if you're Stephen Bode and you manage this team, this is a guy you want to play. 429.
429.
We mentioned a couple of 5-game hitting streaks, one of which he's working on now.
That's ruled at 6.
Really?
Yeah, I could see that being reviewed and changed.
Yeah.
The good news is I have white out.
What did they give the ball to Jackson Holiday? Is it
Base hit.
base hit?
Yeah, a scored base hit by tonight's official scorer, Carlos Santana. Up the middle again. It's a little easier for Gunner.
I want him a little bit easier for Gunner.
Sliced over, and Henderson will bat at the bottom of the 5th.
Hendo will bat in the bottom. No. No count.
Thanks everyone, especially Vicky. She's been with us since the beginning and saved us enough on our insurance to help us open our second location.
Auto Owners offers a variety of discounts for life, home, car, and business insurance because they think the more you protect, the more you should save.
I couldn't have said it better myself, Mickey.
That's simple human sense. Ask your independent agent if auto owners make sense for you.
Who do you thought this anyway?
It's a commercial.
Dear Freedom, what forms do you take? More miles driven? More dollars saved? More life embraced? And more electrified vehicles than any other brand? Yours, Toyota Hybrids. That's right, Toyota has more electrified vehicles than any other brand. Find yours at Toyota.com. Toyota, let's go places.
Most fans alumni autograph sessions are back at the Yard this Friday. The BALvsCLE joins Tim Norbert and John Stefano on Utah Street before first pitch. Get your tickets for Friday's game at oriolesguardianslive.com/tickets.
Jimmy Norbert,
Jimmy Norbert,
local boy, great basketball player. When could he go to the ring?
Man,
Fearless.
I had to take off my shoes. I had to go.
You have some good
outside for
battles with Tim in the paint?
Oh, he was on our team.
In the meantime,
Charity games where we
my
go.
hey, come on in, everybody. You're watching that picnic video.
Great approach. They only have 3 hits tonight against Capitol Lakes, but 3 walks, grand slam. Look at all the hard hit balls. 7 of them. They're 1 for 7.
1 for 7?
103 are hard. This is way up in the air to center.
Way up in the air to center. Out.
So that's another hard hit ball. They're 1 for 8 on hard hit balls.
1 for 8 on hard hit balls.
Just have to drive it forward.
Yep. With the wall. Okay. Gunnar Henderson up to the plate.
Gunnar hit a ground ball 113 miles per hour at second.
Oh, he scorched it right to Sheenman at second.
This one's hit hard, but a little bit easier at second. And Henderson is retired. He's 0 for 3.
You're kind of a historical buff.
Much.
I want you to go back into the, from 1977 on. Talking about charity basketball games. Who do you think might have been the best basketball player that played? And he also played for the Orioles, but then would have been the best guy in a charity basketball game. He's a rather large
1977 on Mark Henderson? No. He was what, 6'8"?
Yeah. This guy was 6'8".
It's not Ben McDonald.
No, he was soft under the boards. That's what
yeah.
Tells him.
He was the original.
He was sure.
Bottom 5.
He's a very good athlete.
Adley Watchman to the plate.
In North Carolina State.
Ben went to LSU.
I know. Just I'm telling you. Undefeated basketball team.
Oh my gosh. And played for the
Hey, if you're a brand spanking new here.
Relief pitcher. Got a good one.
Oh.
He didn't go.
You can get back to me on this. But I mean, you weren't here at that time. You,
Huh.
I know you weren't even born. He partnered with
Lorenzo Charles, Orioles reliever. Will you tell me or hold it suspense?
No, we'll go up next inning.
Okay. You'll tell me the answer and I'll eat a chicken wing.
RVA has helped me learn by giving me more hands-on activities. I can watch his writing develop. He has confidence to ask questions of his teachers if he doesn't understand. He's composing his own schedule, which is a lot like what a young adult is going to need to learn how to do, and he's learning that at all. My favorite part about being in the RVA is all the amazing clubs. I get on some clubs and then I realize that there are so many people like me.
Running a business gives me enough to deal with, like video meetings. You're muted. And filing an insurance claim. Luckily, auto owners makes it easy. They pay what they owe without any hassle. That's simple human sense.
Dear unbreakable spirit, when the terrain is gnarly, you steady us. When obstacles are ahead, you lift us. When the turf is hostile, you inspire us. Own legend. Toyota Trucks.
Another commercial.
Value of all brands according to CLEvsBAL. Find yours at Toyota.com. Toyota. Let's go places.
MLB All-Star Weekend Truist Park starts with the HBCU Swingman Classic, presented by T-Mobile and powered by the MLBPA Youth Development Foundation. July 11th at 7 p.m. Get your tickets today at allstargame.com/swingman.
Well, guys, we've talked about this throughout most of tonight, but we all love Bark at the Park night. It's one of the best nights across Major League Baseball. And a part of it tonight for the Orioles is that they ultimately help support Reed's Rescue this year. That really puts a spotlight on senior and ill dogs. But it goes a step further than that. Really perfect to talk about it tonight. Dean Kramer is having a sleepover with a dog from BALvsCLE. That's the Baltimore area shelter for animals. And this little guy's name is Taka. Now, Dean and his girlfriend Marley have had Taka over a few times, and Marley said there's no barking. Taka's great in elevators, very politely greets humans and other dogs, treat motivated, but doesn't beg in the kitchen. Taka is available at BALvsCLE if you decide that you want to take him home forever. Apparently a Velcro dog who loves snuggles.
Yeah.
Well, I think everybody watching, including me, Mel, would not like to take Taka home forever.
That's the goal.
If Dean and Marley are going to...
I'll be right back.
I got to get some love to our dog, the great chef. He's probably at home chilling on the couch. We love the chef. Our dog, the great chef.
God damn it.
On our 8 years having chef.
God damn it. Some bitch.
No, keep the dog here. Keep the dog near the camera. Keep the dog right there. He's the star of the night. The dogs are the stars of the night. Jackson Holly's Grand Slam is one thing. The dogs, that's what we want to see.
Yeah.
A rare strike that looked outside the zone tonight.
Yeah, well, Santana is so disciplined at the plate. He's looking for a ball inside middle.
Oh.
Work the count where Dean has to throw something. Last year would have been a split. Let's see what it is this year. Little curveball. Let's see what it is. Not a good one.
So 92 pitches deep for Dean.
Yeah, the most he's thrown 88. That game is Kansas City, 4 1/3 innings. 81 pitches, the 5 1/3 up in Toronto.
Foul ball.
Back to the splitter, hung in his own.
Yeah, last year, I mean, again, 37% of the time he threw that pitch, they'd whip. They'd swing through it. This year, not so much because it's just the same movement.
He doesn't have a single strikeout.
Carlos
or his
Santana.
Everything's been on some kind of a fastball.
Brian Baker getting loose.
Please don't tell me.
For the Orioles.
Oh, God. I gotta ask somebody.
One of these pitches could be the ultimate one of the night. Here's another 2-2. It is popped up now. He has thrown the last two right over the heart of the plate with different speeds, and Santana hasn't been on either. Carlos has now seen all 5 of these pitches in this 6-pitch sequence.
Let's go. Oh,
39-year-old Santana, 16 big league year. Pitches outside, looks almost like a pitch out.
pitches outside.
Now, with a 3-run lead, you're going to pitch out. Do you think he's going to run? Wow. Because that's exactly what it looked like.
And now Dean will step off. That's the second disengagement. So now maybe Ramirez will run. Numbers on Santana, 326 career home runs, career on base 354, most walks among active players. Ramirez is not going.
Ramirez is not going.
Popped up to third. And that will be the last pitch for Dean Kramer.
That'll be the last
96, pretty good ones.
hitter for Dean Kramer.
By far,
Mound visit / pitcher change.
And boy, did the Orioles need it.
Brian Baker.
I will turn to Brian Baker as Dean gets a deserved ovation.
Running a business gives me enough to deal with, like video meetings. You're muted. And filing an insurance claim. Luckily, auto owners makes it easy. They pay what they owe without any hassle. That's simple human sense.
Dear unbreakable spirit, when the terrain is gnarly, you steady us. When obstacles are ahead, you lift us. When the turf is hostile, you inspire us. Own a legend. Toyota Trucks.
Right now, lease a new 2025 Tacoma SR5 for $319 a month, or get 1.99% APR for 72 months on a tough new Tundra. Find yours at Toyota.com. Toyota, let's go places.
The MLB Network podcast is here. Join your favorite on-air personalities for unique perspectives, in-depth interviews, and untold stories from on and off the field. The MLB Network podcast, presented by New Balance, Sundays at 11:30 Eastern.
The game is timeless as baseball. Must evolve. Only you can control your game's evolution. It's a base hit. It's a whole new ballgame. How will your journey evolve? I'll take a look at our Easton pitch cast. Thomas up, gets back in the count with a good slider. Only struck out 94 on the corner. Perfect pitch, great velocity, even better location. Chance now to Brian Baker came in the other day, on Saturday, with a couple of guys on, able to get out of it. He's yet to give up an inherited runner. Been lights out. Great velocity, slider a little bit better, and the changeup even better than that.
Base hit, or is it? Throw to second. Was a little offline by Laureano. Ramirez, the late break got in there, and Kyle Manzardo finds green grass after some miscommunication between Laureano, Urias, and Henderson.
Yeah, the Orioles wanted to find some leather when the ball drops. And somebody's got to catch a tough play because of the wind, and then Laureano I mean, the way it's supposed to be, you come in and until you're called off, Mariano lets it drop, and they get now the tying run at home plate.
And Thomas is going to bat. A couple of left-handed options on the bench. He'll stand in there and he'll pop up a slider from Baker. Infield fly for out number 2.
Infield fly for out number 2.
Yeah, just enough away to get him to pop up. Slider that, up and out over the plate, probably not exactly where you wanted this from.
Yeah.
But gets the job done. There's your 6 out of 6 stranded, and only Colorado's Jake Bird has more, 7 out of 7.
The Orioles had one of the best rates of stranding runners last season, stranding inherited runners. Baker sorts up.
Mika solds up.
Well, Danny Cohen was something like 16 out of 16 before he had the
Soto's warming up for the old buds.
inherited runner scored all year.
Orioles this year, by the way, have only led 27% inherited runners to score. So 73% strand rate. That's tied for 9th in baseball. Last year they were also 9th. 31% scored against him. All the way, high fastball. Baker is a strike away from getting out of it. It's the rookie Martinez.
Yeah, just 3 pitches this year that he could have confidence in. And again, not in this case, but the right-handers, he's been able to pitch up and in. And the changeup acts almost like a split. Great movement. There's your up and in fastball at 98. Well, when you play the Guardians, it's a battle of the bullpen. So it's now your bullpen against theirs. In the last 2 years, they've had the best in the American League. But again, the Orioles, when they're playing well, that's what they do so well, too. There's a changeup that misses.
Orioles bullpen 11th in baseball, 3.49 ERA. Guardians is 4th, 2.58. The Orioles, though, scored 3 runs against the Cleveland bullpen last night. Got all their big relievers multiple days rested this evening. Baker's 2-2 is popped out of play. Another good at-bat by Angel Martinez.
Well, like we said, he must really be seeing the ball. And not a lot of opportunities for runners in scoring position. There's a pitch sequence. Only came in 1 for 2 because he just got recalled for the big leagues.
Tying run at the plate, Martinez, the 23-year-old rookie. Ramirez and Manzardo are the runners. And that is ripped straight back to the top of the screen.
Well, not too many young hitters were able to make contact on that pitch. 97 up in the zone.
Let's go, O's. Let's go, O's.
Two.
This is with a change. You got the home run guy waiting on deck. Real Arias.
Trailed to deep right field. Kirsten racing. Got it!
Nice catch.
That is as good a play as Heston Kirsten has made
Wow.
as a big leaguer.
Well, run saver right there.
Attaboy.
Talked about Martinez, how well he swung the bat. I mean, this ball drilled.
Kirsten Houston makes a one-handed catch.
Right, center field.
It was, I can't even explain it. O'Hearn, Mullins, and Mountcastle do up. 3, 4, and 5 hitters.
Down in the dugout discussing baseball with your teammates, Gemini, but taking a break from talking to watch the game may give you valuable insight. Noticing where the team excels could help you put together a plan that encourages each player's strengths. You'll be lauded for your thoughtful feedback that keeps the team scoring runs.
RVA has helped me learn by giving me more hands-on activities. I can watch his writing develop. He has confidence to ask questions of his teachers if he doesn't understand. He's composing his own schedule, which is a lot like what a young adult is going to need to learn how to do, and he's learning that at 11. My favorite part about being in the RVA is all the amazing clubs. I get on some clubs, and then I realize that there are so many people like me.
Dear sharp curves, don't spin your wheels. With more all-wheel drive sedans than any other brand, you can bet your bottom dollar we're sharper than ever. Because man, we got traction. Yours, Toyota Sedans. Toyota has more all-wheel drive sedans than any other brand. Find yours at Toyota.com. Toyota, let's go places.
Let's go! Oh boy!
Tyler Wells enthused, Deke Kramer elated on a great sliding catch by Heston Kjerstad. Saved 2 runs, probably saved a 2-run triple the way Martinez can run, and the Oriole lead remains at 4-1. They've struggled defensively at times this year, been cleaner on the homestand, and that was a terrific play by Heston Kjerstad.
Yeah, you don't make it if you don't take balls up the bat and you don't work on your defense. And he's gotten a lot better, and you just saw it.
Now the Orioles need some more runs. It's been very little since the grand slam in the second. Gavin Williams allowed a hit and a walk in the third, retired the next 7, but clean defensively in the game. By the way, that error against Anderson in the 5th has been changed to an infield hit. And Heston Kjerstad, known for his bat, with a really strong route to the ball.
And that's really what it's about. Again, if you go across, that ball's over your head, perfect angle. And that's what being a good outfielder is, trying to figure out where the ball is going to land.
There's a leadoff walk. O'Hearn's reached for the second time.
O'Hearn's reached for the second time.
Heston Kjerstad today, months ago. And look, this was Heston Kjerstad yesterday, well before any fans get here, well before anybody else is really watching besides us and you behind the cage with Pat Wesley. Heston was working hard on fly balls, knocked in there by Tim Cousins.
And that was in left field. In this ballpark, wall or no wall, Great Wall of Baltimore, or the new left field has always been the most difficult outfield position. There's Tim Cousins, the bullpen coach. More territory.
Straight up in the air by Sed. Lane Thomas tired his counterpart. Well, it's 2 walks and a flat.
Ryan Mountcastle.
Second 2-out play. So the gravity of the moment makes that a really, really impressive play for young Heston Kjerstad. 3rd year as a big leaguer, but really only part-timer the first 2. This has been a full stretch for him after the injury to Colt Cowser. Fairly regular playing time, which has been hard to come by in his career.
A pretty commendable job after that second inning with a couple of walks in the grand slam by Gavin Williams. Pitch count in hand.
That's a rare chase. He's throwing really good pitches.
Well, that's the pitch that Ryan Mountcastle hit in the left field.
Let's go, Orioles. Let's go.
Sweeper that stayed in the middle of the plate. One of the 2 hits. And then the grand finale, the grand slam by Jackson Holiday on a hanging curveball.
Adjustments this year in his third year. Williams said he was too deep in the back leg that last year. He spun out of it on his back foot, so he's staying taller on his back leg for a good finish. That ball's drilled to right down the line.
Down the line, foul.
Yeah, when you're 6'6", you can be a tall and fall guy. Or you stand really tall. And
let's go.
Your height. It's not that you don't use the leg. It's just, we used to, 59 World Series, we played the Mets. Seaver was a drop-in drive guy.
Yeah.
Jerry Kuzman, who won game 2, was a drop-in guy.
Let's go, O's. Let's go, O's.
But when you're 6'6", boy, you can just stand tall. Again, you certainly propel yourself towards home plate with your back leg. But it doesn't have to be pronounced, because if you're 6'6", you're already throw downhill. Why would you want to drop and flatten out all your stuff?
And he gets a lot of extension too. Kevin releases the ball.
He's over 7.
Yeah, about 7 feet closer to home plate.
Yeah, what normal is about 6 feet, maybe 4 to 6'6", or 66 inches, I guess. And he's out at 7 feet, so really takes advantage of his height. And there's the sweeper.
There's the sweeper, buddy.
They were only 2 for 15 coming into this game on that pitch.
So watch the way that back leg is. We talked about. He tries to keep that taller at the end. There's the drive you alluded to. You like that mechanically?
Yeah, the only thing I'm not going to ever second guess Carl Willis. It's been around forever. Terrific pitching coach. Kind of swings his leg a little bit open, that front leg. Just, like an inch or two.
What can that do?
Get you going more around the ball than behind it. And you can see how he goes a little bit left, and that's the front leg. So if you're trying to do that, and it's fine with a lefty, but what if you have a right-handed hitter? It's almost impossible to throw that fastball up and in.
It's a little breaking ball for the strike.
You have a leg. That's pretty good right there.
Yeah, I gotta put on mute because I gotta use something. I don't want to get copyright. Oh, folks, I am back.
Well, the park night. The party was nice. The party was pumping, and everybody having a ball when Jackson Holiday hit that grand slam in the second. And the Orioles have been wondering who get the big hit they've been looking for this series. Turned out to be their 21-year-old second baseman. A 4-1 lead as Brian Baker jumps ahead of Gabriel Arias in the seventh.
Yeah, so now what do you want to do? You want to go up and in? Maybe you want to do that to get him out with a slider down and away. Changeup, who's been great, wasn't particularly good in the last inning. Doesn't mean that, you didn't throw a few when you took your 9 warm-up pitches. There it is. Yeah, splitter. That's what that's exactly what it tracks like. I mean, the bottom, what's this ball go down? Great arm speed. You sell it like you're trying to sell a used car, and then it bottom drops out.
The new and improved Brian Baker.
Well, just think if you're Brandon Hyde, you signed Andrew Kittredge, who you thought would be a guy that would pitch, and he can close, he can do a lot of things. And then he has a knee problem, so now all of a sudden it's like you got a new guy. Who's this Baker guy up there?
He's turned into Andrew Kittredge.
And if he can make chocolate chip cookies, we'll really love it.
That'll be his post-playing career. Brian's Baker.
Yeah.
He stayed in there to face a lefty in Bo Naylor. Soto's ready.
You could do all kinds of stuff to Baker, man. He's really cooking. I mean, you'll be able to come up with stuff.
Well, I've restrained myself for 4 years, to be honest. There's Kittredge, who, by the way, proved in the outfield before the game. He is well ahead of schedule. Could be back by the end of May. Ooh, wow, that pitch had some Frisbee-like movement to it, but it was inside 3-1 to Bo Naylor.
3-1 to Bo Naylor.
Going head to head as we look at Kittredge, his mustache. Connor Wells telling us all the injured pitchers turn their facial hair into mustaches today. High, very high pop-up. Off of a couple of the rings of Saturn and into Holiday's glove. Baker will stay in probably to protect against a pinch hit by John Kinsey Noel, big right-handed batter off the bench. If the Orioles turn to Soto.
I'll be right back.
Then I'm going to pitch it for Stephen Paul. So this will be the last batter for Baker. You can bet your bottom dollar. The top one, too. Schneemann, now 1 out of 2.
And they take the bunt away, which is important, because they're just trying to get base runners. There's a little backdoor slider, cutter, whatever you want to call it. Change up inside corner. He is dealing. Thinking about Vegas and dealing.
Everything is moving side to side. There's serious life. Ground ball, base hit, change up, hung in there. And Schneemann has it too. He hit night.
A great utility player.
So Baker gets butchered on this changeup, and that'll be the end of his night.
And not where he wanted to throw it. Schneemann says, yeah, you can see his hands go up. Didn't execute the way he wanted, but does get him, 4 outs? 4 much-needed outs as the Orioles are trying to get back on the winning track.
Choose to make your presence felt with the refined style of the Mazda CX-5.
Wake up! If you have polycythemia vera or PV, it may impact your moments. While you may blame the way you feel on getting older, it could mean your PV is getting worse. It's time to help take control of your PV. For adults with PV who have already taken a medicine called hydroxyurea and it did not work well enough or they could not tolerate it, Jakafi kept the volume of red blood cells under control and reduced spleen size. Jakafi can cause low blood cell counts. Tell your doctor right away if you develop bleeding, bruising, tiredness, shortness of breath, or fever, or if any of them get worse. And before taking Jakafi, if you have an infection, have or had TB or hepatitis B, or had a blood clot, heart attack, other heart problems, or stroke. Non-melanoma skin cancers and increases in cholesterol have been reported. With another JAK inhibitor, there's increased risk of major cardiovascular events in those who have risk factors, blood clots in the legs or lungs, sometimes life-threatening, and an increased risk of lymphoma and other cancers. The most common side effects are low red blood cell counts, dizziness, and diarrhea. Why let PV impact your moments? Discover your path to possible. Talk to your doctor about Jakafi.
Thanks everyone, especially Vicky. She's been with us since the beginning and saved us enough on our insurance to help us open our second location.
Auto Owners offers a variety of discounts for life, home, car, and business insurance because they think.
Time for Coors Light, feeding the pressure. Royals have been terrific. Time for ninth in the majors, stranding inherited runners. Gregory Soto among a perfect quartet. He gets a runner on first and 2 outs here with a 4-1 Oriole lead in the 7th.
And there are the numbers for Gregory Soto. It was perfect until Sunday. Gave up 3 runs in that game against Toronto. The Orioles would take a 6-3 lead and lose 7-6 in extra innings. A great stop, fastball, pretty much slider, ground ball pitcher.
Good success against Stephen Kwan, who takes a darting sinker for a strike.
Yeah, lefties actually hit Soto better than righties. I mean, only 10 at bats, 3 for 10.
Kwan does have a walk against Soto, but 0 for his last 5 since. Popped up left side, it's 1-2.
Well, let's see if he can throw him the good slider because he's got one. There is the pitch, the slider, and he's got a splitter he hardly ever throws. And takes a slider, gets away with it. Stevens going, boy, that was a hittable pitch in this count.
Stephen Kwan, one of the toughest players to strike out in baseball, 5th lowest whiff rate in the game. 1-2 pitch. And he does strike out.
Boy, 98 outside middle of the plate. Freezes him. So Kramer, Baker, and now Soto. Some gas on the corner.
If you have polycythemia vera or PV, it may impact your moments. While you may blame the way you feel on getting older, it could mean your PV is getting worse. It's time to help take control of your PV. For adults with PV who have already taken a medicine called hydroxyurea and it did not work well enough or they could not tolerate it, Jakafi kept the volume of red blood cells under control and reduced spleen size. Jakafi can cause low blood cell counts. Tell your doctor right away if you develop bleeding, bruising, tiredness, shortness of breath, or fever, or if any of them get worse. And before taking Jakafi, if you have an infection, have or had TB or hepatitis B, or had a blood clot, heart attack, other heart problems, or stroke. Non-melanoma skin cancers and increases in cholesterol have been reported. With another JAK inhibitor, there's increased risk of major cardiovascular events in those who have risk factors, blood clots in the legs or lungs, sometimes life-threatening, and an increased risk of lymphoma and other cancers. The most common side effects are low red blood cell counts, dizziness, and diarrhea. Why let PV impact your moments? Discover your path to possible. Talk to your doctor about Jactify. Dear unbreakable spirit, when the terrain is gnarly, you steady us. When obstacles are ahead, you lift us. When the turf is hostile, you inspire us. Own legend, Toyota Trucks.
Right now, lease a new 2025 Tacoma SR5 for $319 a month, or get 1.99% APR for 72 months on a tough new Tundra. Find yours at Toyota.com. Toyota, let's go places.
The average dog only lives to be 10. That's 10 birthdays, 10 first summer swims, 10 annual camping trips. At the Farmer's Dog, we don't think that's long enough. That's why our freshly made food comes pre-portioned.
Breaking ball inside begins the bottom of the seventh from Gavin Williams to Ramon Urias. It's a 4-1 Oriole lead. It's been that way since the first batter of the third inning. Gabriel Arias homered after Jackson Holliday's second inning grand slam. Ramon had one of the most important plate appearances of the game. A walk in front of the Holiday slam. But Williams has been rolling since.
Really, I mean, yes. You got a young pitcher, what is he, 25? As you mentioned, former number one draft choice. This is exactly what you want to have a young pitcher do. He struggles, he has a little adversity. What grand slam? And then pitches into the seventh inning.
Certainly helping the bullpen out after Guardians threw 4 relievers yesterday. Series finale 6:35 tomorrow. So a 2 for Ramon. It's interesting to watch Williams. He ditched a cutter, which he had last year. His sweeper, that's evolved from what was a slider at about 89. This season, it's a sweeper around 86. He also had a changeup, which was a very poor pitch. So he was a 5-pitch pitcher last year. He technically threw 2 sinkers, so he was a 6-pitch pitcher, but basically 5 pitches. He's cut that down to 3. We might see the cutter get reintroduced at some point this year. Little tapper. Williams will glove it. Whoa. Zip that once.
Well, he did it all right. If you're 6'6", it's a long way to the ground. And you do have a gold glove first baseman, but he goes over, catches it. I mean, you're going to see under control. There you go. Backhand, get your feet together, and then throw a low seed over there. The gold glover snares. Yeah, he pitched 7 innings back on the 2nd of September against Kansas City. That's the longest he's ever gone in a major league game. A 6-inning game against the Twins in August.
Jackson first pitch hunting. Ramirez almost had a play.
We've seen the wind blow the balls back. And in those games, you didn't give up a grand slam. So you learn about the fortitude of a young pitcher when he has a little bit of trouble. With 92 pitches.
Only 2 home runs allowed this year. Holiday's grand slam after Mike Trout's home run back in Anaheim. And the Trout home run that Williams allowed would have only been a home run at Angel Stadium. Joey Cantillo throws. So first 3 games he gave up 1 home run. That was a home run hit to a part of Angel Stadium. I wonder where, right field, right center field. What would have been a home run nowhere else. So he was unlucky to give up 1 home run in the first 2 games. Makes the grand slam for Jackson all the more impressive. Driving it the other way into the Oriole bullpen. Up the ladder, no swing.
Yeah, the Orioles done it. It's not that he hasn't pitched well, because he hasn't, with the exception of the 2 walks and the grand slam. Orioles have done a great job of laying, as you mentioned, laying off that high heater. And the low curveball.
Bottom of 7th. 4-1 Holiday.
Orioles have chased less than 20% of the pitches outside the strike zone. So they've really not got fishing much. 3-2.
They do.
Go fishing here. Threw enough hooks and finally hooked Holiday for the fourth strikeout.
Yeah, really good curveball. You have the illusion you think it's going to stay up, and because you're 6'6" and you got really good spin, and it's going.
Peace.
Probably
See you guys.
6.5.
Thursday. Maybe Friday. Well, before I do
Average
that.
curveball's about 5 feet of drop. And you can see that's a pretty notable number on the Orioles. They've chased nearly half the time on 3-ball counts. Part of the reason they have the 4th worst walk rate in baseball. Lots of swings and 3-ball counts. 2-0 to Laureano. By the way, I got to punt on the NC State basketball player thing. I cannot figure it out. NC State basketball player who was an Oriole pitcher. I'm sure everybody
On an undefeated world, NCAA champion.
Yeah, David Thompson did not pitch for the Orioles. So.
No. He was Timmy Martinez's right-hand version of the dynamic duo in the Orioles.
Yeah.
About 2 feet taller than Timmy.
Well, I'm not checking my phone, and I see many people have
Everybody
identified.
Everybody knows but you.